by it because God has already told me what is happening. So with me, I just find to me, it's like how did Shakespeare put this on? He describes his play, one of his play, Romeo and Juliet, as a tragic comedy. That's all it is. Everything that's happening to me, that is happening in this world right now, it's a tragic comedy because God has already told me.
Guys, almost you guys are running out of the screen. You're leaving me on the screen. But anyway, on the same note, Miss Blackjack and Jeff Buru, there's something that is happening in Africa. I don't know if you can weigh on it. What is the role of this organization called the African Union, or could it be that we've been seeing the European League and those kind of organizations, and if you look at those other continents, they're really helping, they're really relevant when it comes to economic issues and even the political issues. Our own Africa, I remember we are having the African Union. Do we normally feel its presence? And now that people, the seat or the chair, the chairmanship is going to fall vacant, and one of our own is also bidding for the same seat. That is Raila Odinga is also bidding for the same seat. So what is the possibility of him clinching the seat vis-a-vis those other guys from different parts of Africa are also interested in the seat? Could it be that this is the East African moment that we can be able to stand with our own? Remember, in East Africa, we are having like 11 countries. Then if we get the support from the western parts and the southern and the central part, then we are good to go. Already we are having some goodwill or some ambassadors in the Western Africa, led by Olusegun Obasanjo. So what is your take, you guys, on this? Will East African through Raila Odinga manage to clinch this seat before we look at how relevant it is in Africa? Maybe I'll start with Jeff as we move in that direction. Nimeongea hiyo maneno and sorry, I've seen Jeff. I've heard that and he really came back faster. Maybe he's an interested party in this.
No, no, Leo. Today I'm just a tired guy here on the screen. But I think first of all, the fact that we have a candidate from Kenya is a good thing. And chairmanship of all those African nations is a good thing. It's a great thing. And maybe Africa, we don't have much weight on the global arena, but if we have the right person, of which I don't know how he's gonna perform. So, but if we have the right person to spearhead the interest of Africa, then I think we can be felt, we can be heard out there. So, and I think Raila Odinga can do his best. So I pray for him, as I said, to win that position. Honestly. And if not him, though he has already declared his interest, still we had another candidate by the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. Either of them can do a very good job. So apart from our political differences, these are Kenyans. And when any of them wins or becomes great, we all become great for the interest of our country and for the interest of Africa. That is what I can see. I can say as I try to get the momentum to enter into this debate. I remember last time I was here, it became so much heated. So I wish it will be the same today.
I think Mise is here. Sorry, Mise is also here. I just want him also to weigh on the same before we look at some other things. So Mise, do you think it is the East African moment this time round?
I don't know what you mean by East African moment when it should have been a Kenyan moment.
Okay.
The candidate in question, I don't find him very successful in his own country. So when we are talking about the continent of Africa, we should first experience the leadership from our own country. The leadership begins at home, but his style of leadership is mad with chaos and um, uh, so I don't know if he's gonna be characterized with the same chaos at the AU. I don't know if he's going to mobilize people to go on strike when things are not working and so on. But I want to believe that he this is something that he should have started long time ago. I think overstaying in Kenyan politics, I think, has taken a lot of points from him. I want to believe that I would recommend Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta because he seems to be a sober and objective person compared to Raila Amollo Odinga. I think one of the things that I find in Raila Amollo Odinga is not per se the solution, the actual solution of the people, but rather self-gratification on how high or what is the highest position that he has held in his life. I find like that is the strife, and I don't find genuine motive for him to progress the people that he intends to lead. If that was the case, the issues of corruption wouldn't have be rampant in our country, because it does wield a lot of power and influence to fight such huge enemies of progress in his own country. So I still think that he needs to stay within Kenya and try and continue to push for change before we send him to the East African to the EU, the AU, African Union. So that is my feeling. But if you ask me, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, I think, is a very sober mind and a very versatile person and of diverse opinion that has got or someone who attracted a lot of people during his reign, and I believe that he is someone who can get along any other person. He's a team player. I don't think Raila is a team player. I think it's most of the time it's either his way or you hit the highway, or you have to come to the table and negotiate, and then unachukua serikali ya nusu mkate mkate. Such things, I don't know if they are going to be in the AU, and that's what I'm thinking for now.
Misha, I think you're also bringing in a good debate, and I've also heard people say so that Uhuru Kenyatta can also fit in the same seat, and having some good connection and good relationship with those his counterparts. He's a former president, and most of the presidents that interacted with in the region, they say that he's having some good relationships, and they even claim that even the current president is not relating well with the members of the Eastern Africa. Those guys in Eastern Africa somehow fear him or somehow see him differently. And they say Uhuru Kenyatta can make it, and maybe the only thing that can stop Raila from making it is when he is fronted by the current president, whom they see as a bully. So, but in this case, Uhuru Kenyatta have not expressed his interest. So should we force him to express his interest? Because so far it is on Raila who confirmed that he's going to present himself.
Yeah, if Raila has gone first, definitely Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta might not show that interest, because for the respect and to show and not to show kind of kurushiana maneno between him and all that. It will create certain tension that is not there. But again, I think you're mistaken. William Samoei Ruto is one of the most appealing young leader who has appealed to a lot of African presidents. You saw when he was suggested to be the chairman, once he was presented to be given the opportunity to hold a certain position, he waved it out for the Comoros guy, president. And William Ruto, if you listen to the conversation about building Africa, investing Africa, uniting Africa, a lot of presidents are really attracted to how brilliant William Ruto is, the ideas that he has, the boldness that he has, the shrewdness that he has. When he speaks with a lot of wisdom, to the extent that a lot of people want to keep listening to him again and again. I was looking at one time they were having a conversation, his presentation vis-a-vis the presentation of Kagame. You know, Kagame knows, Kagame is a dictator in his own country, but Kagame knows how to use the European countries and bend backward so that he can get resources for his country. So that means because of that, he might be biased in articulating issues that are affecting East Africa, African nations or the African continent. So that's why I believe that people like William Ruto have done very well. And because they've done very well in speaking to the hearts of other presidents, if we have someone who is very close and who has worked closely with William Ruto, who has no other interests, like Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, I think they can do very well. And I give this example because I want you to go back to how Barack Obama worked with Hillary Clinton, okay? And even after when Barack Obama chose Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State, they were working very, very well because they had a one common agenda. The other person was Joe Biden. When Joe Biden was the vice president of Barack Obama, they worked very well. He supported him wholeheartedly because he understood the agenda and the manifesto of Barack Obama. And vice versa, I'm sure Barack Obama is supporting Joe Biden wholeheartedly in implementation of his manifesto and so on. But anyway, I'm just thinking that William Ruto, if they work the same way they worked when they went in the first term, before the second term came and they had to go separate ways for political gimmicks, I think they can work very well.
I get you. Back to the country, we've seen this kind of call has really gained momentum, and for sure, we've seen so many people, even the ones that we did not expect, that are going to support him. The people we believe that are his close critics, and the people we believe that some would have believed were his enemies. We saw some encouragement and some support from the people from his own party, that is Azimio Coalition, and all of them have been coming out saying that, you see, Raila is the best. Only for us maybe to get surprised yesterday when we saw the ruling party, the UDA party, said that they're in support of that, and today they're having some parliamentary group meeting to endorse that, and they say they're going to pull all the resources within their reach to ensure that Raila clinched that seat. So what do you have to say about that? Because people expected that maybe people from UDA who've been opposing Raila, who've never believed that he can become a leader, yesterday they showered him with some praises. If you just allow me, I think I'll play for you just a video on how they were showering him with some praises. So what changed, or what can we say about this, and maybe the politics that we've been playing? We've always believed that if I publicly attack you, then we are enemies. But what happened yesterday was different, and Kenyans were shocked. How comes UDA is speaking that language, that ODM is the one that should be speaking?
The ruling United Democratic Alliance, or UDA party, has formally expressed support for opposition leader Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union Commission chairperson's position. Now, UDA's Secretary General Cleophas Malala heaped praise on the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party boss, terming him a true Pan-Africanist. Malala said that President Ruto Ruto party resolved to back Mr. Odinga's bid was not a political decision, but rather a patriotic one made to raise the country's profile and image on the continental scene. Kenya Kwanza will retreat tomorrow to Naivasha for a joint parliamentary group meeting chaired by party leader President William Ruto to, among others, take a position on backing Odinga for an AU job.
And as a coalition and as a party, specifically the ruling party, UDA, we have decided to put our foot down and support Raila Odinga from the sky, on the land, in the sea, whichever place and whatever avenue that we may be having, we will put our resources to support the candidature of Raila Amollo Odinga.
Raila was on the forefront of the greatest leaders who have championed the entrenchment of the tenets of democracy and the rule of law. Today, as the continent goes into deep waters, seeking the emancipation from perpetual dependency on external supports, a man of his stature has the capacity to chart our path and that of Africa to great height. In my capacity as the Secretary General of the ruling party, I wholeheartedly support his bid. I also urge our party supporters and our general membership to support his candidature.
Yes, you've heard it. Let me start with you. I don't know why you're laughing then, but you'll be able to know.
Let Jeff start, because
Jeff,
you and Jeff know where we are laughing, because this is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
I think I also believe, I think this is hypocrisy of the highest order. Why all of a sudden?
Let's Jeff start.
That is Malala. Jeff.
Yes, sir. It's just laughable. And they say that when you see your enemy, let me say, whether political or a genuine enemy celebrate you, then you have a reason to worry. Because these are serious rivals. But the fact that they are fronting Raila Odinga to the extent of almost campaigning for him to become the chair of AU, it can mean so many things. One, I want to say that it's somehow hypocritical, but at the same time, they want him to go because he is a headache to the UDA party. So that's how I can say about that. They just want him to go because he is a trouble to the party, and they know if he goes, they will at least have some peace.
So they are celebrating. They are not celebrating that they want to support him to win, but they're celebrating because him winning is going to release him, or is going to make him get out of their way. Like you want to get in a house and there is a soldier there who is taking care of this house. And when the soldier is there, you can't be able to access this house. So when you hear that this soldier can be given some leave or can be excused to go home and rest, then you are going to support that, not because you want the soldier to go and rest and be with the family, but because you want the soldier to allow you access the place. I get you, Mise. That is what Jeff is saying, that these guys are celebrating because kuna venye, there is how Raila has blocked them, or there is how Raila is stressing them somewhere, is preventing them from doing some other things. So they know when Raila gets out of their way, then they'll have time.
A smooth ride. They will have a smooth ride. The issue of bipartisan agreement will be water under the bridge. See, if you play that clip, they're almost laughing about it, you know? Look, just play around where in between, just play it again. I'll tell you where to stop, and you will see the sarcasm on the faces of these people. And that's why I'm telling you that
the ruling United Democratic Alliance, or UDA party, has formally expressed support for opposition leader Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union Commission chairperson's position. Now, UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala heaped praise on the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party boss, terming him a true Pan-Africanist. Malala said that the President Ruto party resolved to back Mr. Odinga's bid was not a political decision, but rather a patriotic one made to raise the country's profile and image on the continental scene. Kenya Kwanza will retreat tomorrow to Naivasha for a joint parliamentary group meeting chaired by a party leader, President William Ruto, to, among others, take a position on backing Odinga for an AU job.
And as a coalition and as a party, specifically the ruling party, UDA, we have decided to put our foot down and support Raila Odinga from the sky, on the land, in the sea, whichever place and whatever avenue that we may be having, we will put our resources to support the candidature of Raila Amollo Odinga.
Raila was on the forefront of the greatest leaders who have championed the entrenchment of the tenets of democracy and the rule of law. Today, as the continent goes into deep waters, seeking the emancipation from perpetual dependency on external supports, a man of his stature has the capacity to chart our path and that of Africa to great height. In my capacity as the Secretary General of the ruling party, I wholeheartedly support him.
Now you can see. You see how they are laughing about it. Sarcasm. They, like Mburu said, the moment Raila leaves, there are a lot of people, even the people from his own party, who want to even being able to relate with the current government. They will have easy going because now Raila will be busy dining with the big boys, you know. So and Raila, it's the statements that Cleophas is saying that the decision to chart for that position is a patriotic decision. That is laughable. That is so stupid. That is not patriotic. You know what is patriotic, Leo? Is to fight corruption in our own country. You know what is patriotic? Is to champion for creation of employment for our youths in good infrastructure. That is patriotism. That is to make sure that Kenya as a country, port to port, we are connected. If you know, a country that is a country, a well-developed country, is a country that is connected port to port, you know, through railway, through sea, through road, you know, physical road, and so on. So that is the country that people work tirelessly. People sacrifice their lives to make sure that work is done for our country, and you know, legacies left behind, even when they don't have anything. Those are the people who are called patriotic. You know, people like Fidel Castro, who fought for their own country. People like that president who had a beetle. I don't know, Mburu nimesahau the country. He had a beetle with one dog, and he didn't take money from the state. He's from one of the South American countries. Those are people who are patriotic. People who are not looking for higher positions. People who are not holding a country hostage so that they can be given what they want. That is patriotism. I don't see that patriotism in Raila. I mean, he used to be, but he became overzealous and of ambitious, and that patriotism left. So I don't agree with what UDA is trying to do. Is good riddance. hata siku ingine tulikuwa tunaonanga even in school, ukiwa na mtoto mbaya sana hivi, they are transferring the teacher, the head teacher or the principal anamprosesia haraka sana, anasema enda, anampatia hata good recommendation aende because it's good riddance. That is what the UDA are doing for Raila Amollo Odinga. What the heck do you think they will put someone like Osoro, who was beaten by Simba Arati? What interest do you think he has to support Raila Amollo Odinga? Zero. They are saying you are a problem to us. Every time we are trying to steal or to do certain things, you are here. You are poking your nose into our business. Please go. Watamfanyia hata mchango, utaona, and they will trivialize that. Unaona? So we want Baba to stay. We want him to mentor other leaders. We want him to fight for the cause and of development in our own country by ensuring that we have fought corruption, which is the greatest impediment of development in our country. And once we see corruption diminishing, that is patriotism. Patriotism is supporting William Ruto's agenda and saying, I know you and me wanted to go for the top seat, but you beat me, you won, and I'm here to support you to succeed in implementation of your manifesto, because we have one country, and that country is Kenya. That is patriotism.
But Mise, when you say patriotism is supporting William Ruto's agenda, I hear so many people saying that if, for example, today Raila joins William Ruto, they say that is betrayal. Remember what happened when Raila joined Uhuru Kenyatta to support his agenda? What was said? They say that is betrayal. He betrayed the people who voted him by joining William Ruto. So what do you say about that? It's what's happening outside here. If maybe today Raila joins William Ruto, they'll say that is betrayal. And you are saying it is patriotism.
Do you think when Raila joined Kibaki, that was betrayal?
When Raila joined Kibaki, actually that one was a different situation, because in 2007, 2008, there were some civil or some tribal clashes, and the country was really bleeding. And this one was intervened by even foreign emissaries who had to come to Kenya and put these people together and told them that, you see, now you people have to work together. They had to alter the constitution and come up with what was called the National Accord and such kind of things. So Raila didn't just wake up and walk and say, okay, now I'm shaking hands with Kibaki and we are working together. Different from what happened in 2018, when one day people just got shocked to see Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta at Arambe House shaking hands and saying that from today we are going to work together. So that was different.
Leo.
Yeah. So what can happen if today just Raila wakes up and say, okay, today I'm working together with William Ruto? Are you not going to see people making noise everywhere that you see Raila, you betrayed us, or you see you?
No, you're going
the
back. The
opposition is dead.
You're going back to what you said before. I'm just asking this simple question. It was tribal clashes was one of the reasons why they came together and decided to work together. And even though there were external people who came from outside, like Kofi Annan, to help them come together and work together, that was failure on our part. Do we have to wait for someone to come from outside to unite us and to show us that we can work together? Do we have to wait for a serious tribal clashes for us to come together? Aren't the people pleading right now economically? Don't we have a lot of youths who don't have jobs? Don't we have a lot of youths or seniors who don't have proper or good healthcare coverages? These are some of the reasons that should bring us back and unite us for a common goal. Our common goal is to provide services for the people of the Republic of Kenya. Our common goal is to build Kenya. Our common goal is to market Kenya. You don't have to go to AU to market Kenya or to make Kenya proud. Our common goal is to be able to accommodate one another, even when we have different ideologies or when we have different political interests. We put them aside and we say, let us leave our differences aside, put our differences aside, and work together, because you, Jeff, you are my brother. Despite the fact that you come from Central, you, Jeff, you are a Kenyan. Despite the fact that you're coming from Nyanza, Leo, you're my brother. And we only share one country. Our country is Kenya. And Raila Amollo is a brother to William Ruto by virtue of being born in the same country. And that is patriotism that we are looking for. But it doesn't have to be that if you don't give me this, I can't dispense, or I can't bring my what do we call my recipe for problem solving. That is where we go wrong. And that's why I stopped having the passion for Raila, because every time we go to the ballot box, when we come out, we have to go for maandamano. He has to contest, he has to say ameibiwa. Mbona yeye asiibe? Mbona yeye asiibe? Kama kuiba ndio kwenda kwa nini? Kama kuiba ndio kushinda. So that's why I'm saying he is very insincere. Let him stay. Hatutaki aende, wacha akae hapa, wacha akoroge. Kama kukoroga serikali ndio itafanya serikali ikuwe functional na it deliver on its mandate, let him be here. That is his purpose. That is why we are paying him, because that's why we are giving him free security. That is why we are giving him free mafuta ya gari. That's why we are giving him intelligence report, and that's why we're giving him a lot of benefits as the former prime minister. Hakuna mahali anaenda, hatutaki aende, tunataka abaki hapo nyumbani. Hakuna kazi, hajamaliza kwani.
Mise, umesema hakuna mahali amtaki aende. So somebody is talking of why do you fear being Raila orphan? That is somebody's concern, because they're saying the people who don't want Raila to get out of this country are people who are going to remain orphans in the absence of Raila. They're arguing that Raila, he's so influential to a point that Mise, if he takes you today at a certain market in Siaya and holds your market and say, this is huyu ni Mise, huyu ni Jakisi, huyu Jakisi atakuwa mbunge hapa. Whether you had some huge support there, it's obvious people are going to elect you. We've seen people like Junet and so on and so forth. So people are saying that those kind of people are the ones who don't want Raila to leave, to exit the scene, because they still want to benefit from Raila holding their hands. And we are going to have Raila orphans. For example, if you come from Nyanza, there was a certain powerful and influential politician who was called Nyachai. Nyachai would give direction and people will follow him. So immediately Nyachai exited the scene. Today, you can go to the southern parts of Nyanza, that is Kisii, the Gusii region. It is out for grab. Raila can go there, he can be listened by a section of people. William Ruto can go there, he can be listened. So the community, or the people that believed and that were following Nyachai, there is no more patronage there. So in Gusii land, it's anybody can go there and grab the votes there. And like when you come to Nyanza, they'll tell you, Baba amesema nini. So the same happened when people like Kijana Wamalwa died in Western Kenya. So Western Kenya are no longer united under one person. Anybody can go. You'll find that Raila is having his base. Anybody can walk in and grab votes there. So could it be that people fear that when Raila exits, then they will not get that benefit? Can Missy, can you be able to hear it?
I'll let Jeff go. He's been quiet for a while.
Let Jeff tackle that. Then I also want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, what was the question for Leo? Because I thought
question is, Mise is telling us that Raila should not go, Raila should remain here. Could it be that Mise is one of the people, or like the people who really depend on Raila to hold their hands on elections? They really depend on Raila to support them, so that when Raila will now leave, they will remain orphans because there will be nobody to hold their hands.
You see, for me, I have a different opinion because when I look at Raila Odinga and his kind of politics, I see someone who does not embrace democracy. If he was the leader of UDA, people like Toto would never have become leaders, because only people who are closer to him get the tickets of the ODM party or any other party that he controls, like the Azimio. Mostly, let me say to a larger extent, I don't want to say 100%, that's what happens. So with him not being in the political scene, it means the people of ODM and other parts of Kenya will realize real democracy. They will have no one to handpick them. They will have no one to give them direct tickets. So I think it will, for me, I would agitate and support those who are saying, let him exit from politics, because I'm one of those people who are very tired of Raila's kind of politics. Yeah, that's what I can say. We should not be having people being handpicked, being supported so that they become leaders. We want to see people compete on a fair ground. That is democracy. So what has been happening in ODM is dictatorship, which we need to change that kind of politics. Yeah. Mr. Leo, I don't know who is making you happy. The other side
Yes.
of the studio.
Leo's
I'm
wife.
getting you. I'm getting. I know your point of thought is different from Mise. You are one of the people who believe that Raila should go, and you are in the same group with the Osoro and Malala, who are saying that you people are ready to mobilize in the waters and above the sea.
Yeah, that's
And
why
then
we
we
are campaigning for him, not because
yeah,
we love him so much, but
I
because
get
we
you.
want to take troubles
But
away.
Mise is genuinely, I think Mise genuinely loves him, and that is why I've
No, I
had
don't.
two sets
Oh,
of
yeah,
people.
he does.
No,
He
no,
does.
That
no,
is
We
no.
love
why
him
he's
as a
saying that, okay,
person.
we want
By
to
the
remain
way,
with
let
him
me
here.
clarify something. Let me just
Yes.
clarify something. People think that I hate Raila Odinga as a person. I totally have no differences, but I hate his style of politics, his leadership style. But as a person, I love his humor. I love his charisma. I love everything about him and jokes and all that. But when it comes to politics and the level, the extent to which he can go, that is what puts me off. He has no limit when it comes to the level at which he can fight for the position.
But that is politics, Jeff. You know, in politics, the formula doesn't matter. What matters is you remain relevant. And for those people who read
No, it matters
No, it
because
does
48,
it
matters.
matters. It matters
It
a
does.
lot. You cannot hurt your country in the name of politics or position or remaining relevance. That is being self.
that is why most of us are not in politics. If you look at most politicians, some of them, politics doesn't have set rules that you have to do this. What matters, and people will tell you outside there, that
What?
is, as long as you can remain
Yes.
relevant in politics. There are people who've been
No.
people like Museveni. How did he get to power? But at the end of the day, we celebrate him. He's a powerful man. He knows how to
No.
protect power. He knows
Leo.
how to keep himself there. That is what happens. Yes,
Leo. That is. Don't give bad examples. Okay.
I get you.
Politics is good governance. Good governance looks at the basic tenets of democracy. Just like Mburu said, to influence or to appoint or to endorse is to negate the spirit of democracy. Okay? And Raila
Mhm.
is very fond of that. And look at the people that he has appointed or endorsed. These are people who are corrupt, you know. Look at the late uh, uh, my governor, what was his name? Nyagarama, you know. Even after
Yeah.
Nyagarama building a gate of 7 million, that was ridiculous. Still, Raila endorsed it. Okay, so look at
Mhm.
Junet Mohammed. Even after Junet Mohammed ate hates the money for the agents, still Raila praises him, okay, and entertains him. So the people that are around Raila Amollo Odinga are not people of sanity. That is why we don't like him. You cannot preach water and drink wine. And you're saying that's how politics is. Politics is not like that. Politics is about good governance, good politics. We are talking about good politics. And if we talk about good politics, we are talking about good governance. And if we are talking about governance, we are talking about good policies, policies that trickle down to affect the livelihood of people. That's why you go for leadership. When you go to leadership, you look at the security, you look at healthcare, you look at infrastructure, you look at education, and so forth. The quality of life must be good. That is the basic reasons why we have to elect leaders, to bring diversity in their leadership and the country to flourish, to have good economy for good quality for a common man. So that doesn't sit well with the with Raila Amollo Odinga. He used to, but not anymore. And there's something you mentioned about Nyachai. Actually, nobody really listened to Nyachai, even in the years when Raila was in Kenya, Fort Kenya, right? When Nyachai broke and created Ford people, still the Kisii people still voted for Ford Kenya. Okay, we still had people who voted for Ford Kenya. The pattern of voting in Kisii has never been uniform. Has been never like one what they call one.
They've never put their votes in one basket, huh?
We've never put our votes in one basket. We always put either 41% or 50%, 41-51 or 50-50. Sorry, 49-51 or 50-50. The reason why we do that is because the Kisii community has invested, just like the Luya, the Kikuyu community have invested so much outside. And because for fear of being attacked, either by the Kalenjin, by the Maasais, by the Luos, who are our neighbors, and other people, the Kikuyus in Nairobi, we all try to vote and balance. That is the
wait a
pattern.
minute, Mise, did you say people vote for fear of being attacked? So does it mean that is what determined how somebody votes? Because if you vote in this way, you are going to be attacked. Really?
Of course. There is. If you remember, there used to be a lot of. There used to be a lot of tribal clashes. When you go to Nyangusu, the border between the Maasai and the Kisii, there used to be a lot of problems, especially during the Olentimama's time. Okay, there used to be a lot of fighting that resulted to you go fight and you steal cattle and bring them back, and then they will come to follow and things like that. But those things have since been outgrown. But think about, there was a time in Rongai, there was a Kisii member of parliament who was opposing this guy who was in security. Is it Ole what? The guy who worked under what is his name? I forgot. I forgot his name. He's still the member of parliament of Rongai or Kajiado. There was a wave where the Maasais went and wrote leaflets saying that if you're not voting for Ole something, what is his name? I forgot his name. MP for Kajiado. I'll tell you his name.
I get you, Miss, and somebody is asking a question there that, yeah.
So that is so that is Sunkuri. Yeah, Sunkuri. Yeah. Sunkuri was actually another menace who brought a lot of tribal fightings and all that. So that is why we are saying that the people vote because they don't want to be evicted from where they call home now. We are saying Raila's style of politics. Mother Karua once sometimes back said that she does not admire Raila's style of politics, and that's why we are saying that today it's hypocritical of Mother Karua to be standing as the deputy principal of Raila Amollo Odinga when she declared that she doesn't like the politics of one Raila Amollo Odinga.
We can't hear you. Somebody has asked a certain interesting question there. I don't know who will answer this. That on a sincere note, can anyone of Azimio principals make to pull even to a quarter of the crowd who used to come to Raila rallies? Jeff, unaweza mjibu hiyo?
Currently, no. Raila Odinga has been in politics for quite some time, and he has built himself so much that right now nobody in ODM can be in a position to pull the crowd like he does. It is a good thing for him, but sometimes it works against the country, and that is where, for me, I say his being popular sometimes does not help the nation. Remember, we had people who used to pull crowd, people like Kenneth Gido Matiba. Matiba was tougher than Raila Odinga. I know during the Matiba's time you cannot comprehend that because maybe you were a baby or you were not born. But let me tell you, Kenneth Gido Matiba was very tough than Raila Odinga. But he was tough, and he used to say things as they are. He was tough in talking and telling people, criticizing the regime of Daniel Moi. When mentioning the name of Moi, everybody was afraid of it. But I never saw Matiba mobilize any kind of violence. He would call demonstrations, and even Central Kenya, we used to have demonstrations, but peaceful demonstrations. No shops would be burnt, nobody would be stoned, no cars would be burnt, no roads, they used to block roads with stones, but largely the kind of protests we used to have those days was peaceful demonstrations. But now here comes Raila Odinga. For me, I call him the father of violence and chaos and hooliganism in the nation of Kenya. Because we also had Mwai Kibaki for a long time. In fact, Mwai Kibaki tried many times to become the president of Kenya. He was an opposition leader. We never saw the kind of violence that we have witnessed in the time of Raila Odinga. And that is where we part ways. So whether you pull crowd, it is a good thing. But do you have the nation at heart? Because for me, I feel, yes, Raila Odinga has made his contribution. But when I look at the damage that he has done to the country, if somebody can be as open and as genuine as myself, because I believe I am, I see the damage and the harm to the country is greater than the good things he has done. That is how I see it. Because whether you say somebody is a dictator, or whether you think somebody is not supposed to occupy a position, or you think you have won, that should not warrant anybody to die. Not even a child, Mr. Leo, should die because Geoffrey wants to become a president or any other position. So when I see somebody, even when people are dying, he uses that for political mileage, it defeats logic. Because for me, I value life so much, and anything that can lead to death, I would avoid it. But Raila Odinga doesn't care. When I tell people we are going to remove the president from power, he doesn't care what is likely to happen. And he knows very well that at the end of the day, there is going to be serious crash. And he goes ahead. And even I don't see him telling people what they should do to avoid the confrontation between them and the police. What he does, he fuels the animosity between the police and his supporters, so that everything becomes violent, and then the international community intervene, and so that he can have a position in government. When I see that kind of leadership, when I see that kind of politics, that is why I say myself, I'm one of those people who have really gotten tired of Raila style of leadership, because we have seen politicians before eyeing the same position, but with totally different angle or approach, without hurting the nation, without hurting the economy, not hurting businesses, not scaring away investors. So it is very important that we be mindful. As much as we want to become leaders, let us be mindful of our country, because Kenya today is perceived as a violent nation, as not a good place for even investors to come and invest their money. And that's why we have a great level of unemployment, because private people and outside people are the ones who bring jobs. But what happens? The other day you saw, and maybe we can get that clip, maybe because Leo might not be willing to get that clip. You will see President Samia Suluhu, telling his people that this year, that was 2022, she said, this year we have received so many investors because in our neighboring country, there is chaos, there is war. People are running away from Kenya and they are going to invest in Tanzania. That doesn't bother Raila Odinga. That doesn't bother the Azimio team. In fact, they get happy about it. It is not me who said it. It was the president of Tanzania. So, and then when the economy is not doing good, they criticize the government, whereas they know that they have contributed to the downfall of our economy. Those kind of things, that kind of politics is what pisses me off. And I say,
I'll give it to Mise, and before I give it to Mise, I think it was in record when business are running to Tanzania. It is because of our taxation policies, including the policies that we put in place that scare these people away. And even currently, you know that Uganda are also planning to be getting their oil directly from Tanzania and such kind of things. I think this one doesn't have anything to do with the politicians, but it has something to do with the government policies. I just got something interesting, maybe, that I just wanted to put across before I welcome Mise. I know Mise will weigh on it better. That if I maybe look at the Republic of Kenya, that is post-independence, we've had some massacres where the government people in power have really mishandled people, and a lot of lives have been lost. Like the first one in 1960s, during the Kenyatta's time, we had the Isiolo massacre, whereby 2,700 plus Kenyan Somalis were killed in Isiolo massacre. Civilians of Kenyan Somali community murdered by the Kenyan security, by the then President Jomo Kenyatta. We had the Kisumu massacre in 1969. Jeff, I think the story that you know, when there were some clashes over when Jomo Kenyatta attended the opening of the then Russia hospital, the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral Hospital. Over 100 citizens were killed by the police during the Kenyatta regime. After that, we had the Garissa massacre in 1980. That is in the northeastern province, whereby over 3,000 Kenyans died. They died. These were Somalis in eastern Kenya, and this incident occurred when the Kenyan government, acting on the premise they were trying to flush out the people that were called the Abdimadobe. Yeah, you know what happened after that? The one that is fresh in our minds, 1984, we had the Wagala massacre again. You know what happened? The Kenyans of Somali ethnic lost their life. We've had several massacres that and several deaths that have been caused on innocent citizens by the government in power. So I want Mise to say something of this. You said that I think Raila's political character is that one mad with some form of violence. Maybe before we go to the history of violence in this country and such kind of things, though we also know if we can be able to look at some of the demonstrations that these guys have led personally, you'll find that the people always move peacefully until maybe people get tear gas and such kind of things. But we've also seen some demonstrations which have been done independently without them attending or without them getting involved, and it turns out to be chaotic. And that is why even the police have never found it right to call these people into question, because they were never participating. So this one, I think, Mise, being a lawyer, a legal expert, you can be able to give us your opinion on that, the politics of violence and how somebody should take responsibility. You even saw what happened in 2007 general election. I know you come from Nyanza. Most people from Nyanza are the ones who really they were victims innocently. We had the people from Nyanza being killed in Naivasha, Nairobi, and major towns, and even reaching Nyanza and Kisii was really hard. But there are specific places that people had some planned violence, like the ones who are fighting in Rift Valley, and it turned out that these guys, they just used politics to fight their land issue and such kind of things. So Mise, I'll give it to you, even as we try to wind up the politics of violence. We have been told that if Raila exits, then we will not see the politics of violence in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. There are people who believe, and it's good that Kenneth Matiba was mentioned. You know, Raila is always seen as the one who has fought for democracy of this country. There are a lot of people, Martin Shikuku, Kenneth Matiba, many people who vote for that, who championed, who challenged Moi, but they are forgotten. It was not Raila alone. People say that Raila Amollo Odinga alifungwa jela na akatezwa akafanya nini, but even Kenneth Matiba did, alichapwa akatezwa and all that, but again, we don't remember. We have not even named anything after him. We have nothing to remember our heroes, the people like Kenneth Matiba, Martin Shikuku. We have nothing. So that's why I say that the politics of violence has no place in our country. And if anything, if we are going by Chapter 6 of the Constitution, the fact that you participate and organize for demonstrations that turn out to be violent, you should be held accountable. You are the one. Actually, that is how, when you look at, I think it's chapter 35 or chapter 35, I think, Article 35, that talks about the freedom to assemble, freedom to picket, or something like that. I don't remember. But you see, there is always a procedure on how you should go for demonstration. You should ask for permission. You just can't wake up one morning and say we are going for demonstration. You have to go and report to the nearest police station. The police station has to oversee that. So, and Leo, I'm just surprised that people always blame the police to start throwing the tear gas, to be the ones who are provoking the people, and then the people respond. That is not actually true to the fact. The truth is, when the work of the police is, when they give an order, you must respect the order. If the police says, stop, you are supposed to stop, right? So that is why, and that's why we go wrong. That's where our people go wrong. When the police say, stop, you can't go beyond this place because you are not planned, okay? When you go to the police station, you give a route that your demonstration will take.